supine position. We've done this many times in class, Zoom classes and otherwise. Roll up your blanket. We'll get to the mudra in a second. Put this behind your shoulder blades, behind your sternum, and lie down. I'm going to participate in this with you, okay? So I'm not being lazy. I'm just doing it too. I just want to do it too. And if it's too thick, it's too high, you made it too high or too thick for yourself, make it lower. Now this is behind the sternum. This is behind the heart. This is supporting also the diaphragm. And this solar plexus area, which is just south of the xiphoid process, which is one of the bones of the sternum, is getting thrust up skywards here. Breathe in and breathe out. Just staying for about a minute and we'll change it a little bit. I was doing some reading this morning, and in the book that I'm reading about yoga, of course, and the subtle body, etc., it was saying that Gandhi, one of his main practices that gave him great tapas, fire, discipline, that was his main discipline, was fasting. And that is a huge part of what's going on today with Yom Kippur, is fasting. Those who can do is fasting. It is a way to discipline the mind, to purify the body. It is a way to stay on point with your own good self. And to even potentially breathe in, breathe out. Clear out what is in the way so that you can connect more deeply with the moment now. What we're going to do is roll to the right side, or whatever side you want to go to. Keep the bolster underneath of your right ribs. Now look, this is these are my old tricks. This is my old little trick, and it will probably come up in our Reiki Restorative on Thursday. Unless you don't like it, in which case I'll give you something else to do. But this is still pressing up into your ribs, and you're breathing in and out. We're just sort of rolling around the cage of the ribs, and we are finding for different pockets, different places to breathe in and out of. Breathe in, breathe out. The solar plexus, called Manipuri Chakra in the yoga subtle body anatomy world, is a place of will. A place of will, a place of fire. Tapas translates as fire as well. Breathe in, breathe out. So it's that commonly thought of as like a digestive fire. It is that burning, the burning that happens as a result of our discipline. Like when I start sweating because we're doing arm balances or even just anything these days. Breathe in and breathe out. Just another few minutes. Breathe in, or a moment here, and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So we'll roll through that. I placed a block under my skull because it was like a little too far from my head to go, and my neck was feeling a little tense. So you might want to do that as well. So roll over onto your other side, and we'll stay here just approximately as long. Just lazing, rolling side to side, caring for ourself, which is really a collective self. We are all breathing in the same air. Even I know Sean is over in Kensington, I'm over here in Ditmas, and Judy is over there in Minneapolis, and we're all over the world, let's say, but we're sharing. We share the ultimate resource of the air. Breathe with this practice at the beginning of class, we were just amplifying our connection to the breath. With the bolster blanket in place, it's helping amplify the connection not just to the breath, but to the ribs and to the muscles, and that. Breathe in and breathe out, dear friends. And then let's push ourselves all the way up to a seated position. And actually, let's not stay seated for so long. Let's get up to stand. On Saturday in the park, I think it was a couple days ago, and we did these couple practices, sort of more preliminary practices. So just come to stand up. I think you'll like this. This is where we separate the feet a little bit, just a hair wider than the shoulders. Maybe turn the feet out, not a lot, just a little. And then we lean into the balls of the feet. So the ball of the foot, boom, is just south of the big toe. So even lift the heels and just stay there for a moment. Keep the knees slightly bent. Now something interesting I found out recently, and when we lock the knee or any joint, when we lock it out, that can make us pass out. Did you know that? Has anybody ever passed out by locking your knees? But I recently found that out, so definitely don't lock your knees. Keep the knee bent, keep the weight shifted forward into the balls of the feet. Feel from the ball of the foot up to the inner thigh, down to, up to this lower tendon area, this lower hara, the hara of earth key center. And just breathe up from the balls of the feet through the midline of the leg to this hara. And then you can exhale back down into the earth. Just feel your connection with the earth. Breathe up. I'm going to do it 9 times. Breathe down. Breathe up 3. Breathe down. Breathe up 4. Breathe down. Breathe up 5. To the lower tendon, breathe down. Inhale, 6. Exhale. Inhale, 7. Exhale. Inhale, 8. Exhale. Inhale, 9. Exhale. Great. That's for our connection to the earth element. The sequence that we've been working with mudra-wise is the sequence for elements. To connect to the qualities of elements, so we're just going to work up to where we are today. So come onto your hands and your knees. So, plant your palms. Do your wrists feel funny? Do you need to do a little wrist work before you move? And more weight into your wrists. So turn your fingers back and pull back. Breathe in and breathe out. And then turn your fingers out. Lean to your right and to your left. Breathe in and breathe out. How about this one? Flip one palm up, point the fingers towards the other wrist. Can you see that? Breathe in and breathe out, just to stretch the wrist in the opposite direction. You could, if you wanted, Judy's here, and I love Judy's class, I love Judy. And you could just sit on your heels and shake your hands like maracas. And then flip to the other side. Shaking the hands like maracas. I love that metaphor, Judy. Breathe in and breathe out. You know, I guess I do a lot of reading, I don't know, in a certain way. I don't read novels, but I read a lot of
yoga stuff and poems and stuff like that. Sit back on your toes, tuck your toes under. Now shake your wrists, shake your hands like maracas. And when we imbue our words, and as teachers of whatever it is that you might teach, with metaphor or imagery, it makes the work that we're doing more potent. So as you're working, for the brain sort of eats it up more quickly. It assimilates it more. This stretching of the feet is good for the plantar fascia, and opening the sole of the foot helps to maintain that sense of connection to the earth. So as you're practicing, you might be thinking like, oh, this is like, and just say to yourself, oh, this is like cotton candy, or oh, this is like, you know, a big, you know, sun smile, or whatever it is, a big ball of fire, or whatever it is, and that can help just your brain really digest the work that you're doing. So come back onto your hands and your knees, and to get the connection to the water element, let's just simple, we do this all the time. Inhale, tailbone up, belly down, chest up, face up, exhale, reverse. Just do it for about a minute, inhaling and exhaling. This serpentine-like movement, snake-like movement of the spine reminds us of the water element. Water that ripples, water that undulates, water that is fluid. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Taking our time today to move with a lot of reflection on the movements that we're doing. And all levels, for all bodies classes. I have taken to calling these all levels classes lately, trying to appeal to everybody so that we can all see ourselves doing these practices as part of the big community of yoga practitioners. This is not meant to be just for a certain number of people or a certain type of person. This practices are meant for all of us. All of us. Just a couple more. Okay, and then let's come to sit down. You can sit on your sits bones in any way. So just try to keep it easygoing practice today.